So today is a huge day for me. It is the first time that I'm a part of a car reveal with Scuderia Ferrari HP, and it is honestly, it's been something I've been waiting for from a long, long time. And already entering into this year has been so exciting. There's so much excitement coming to the factory for the first time, driving the car for the first time, meeting the whole team. And I think really that first day when I did meet the whole team, knowing that they were working on something, on a project, on this new car, but not knowing what that would look like, it's a really exciting moment because you get to see just how passionate, how committed every single person is clearly. Um, and that you share the same dream as every single one of those people. And you get to now be a part of each other's dream is quite unique. Um, and yeah, I just still very surreal. Just never didn't know and didn't honestly think that I would ever get the chance to be here at Ferrari. So it's something I'm really thankful for and proud to be a part of. And then this car is it's gonna be my car and mine and Charles's car. But this I've driven the old car, a couple of the older cars that were built for other drivers, but this one's been built for me and Charles. So it's really just that alone is really cool. We announced that I'll be joining at the beginning of 2024, so I had a long year, um, and lots of questions, lots of thoughts, lots of trying to imagine what it's going to be like when I do eventually get to Ferrari, what the factory will be like, what the people will be like, what the welcome will be like. So many things, and I don't approach anything with an expectation, but it's definitely I try to imagine it, and it's that and so much more. The sheer magnitude and size of the team, the passion when you actually get in to the team and feel it, it's something real and almost quantifiable. And yeah, it's just getting to move around the whole factory. It's a place that you just don't you enjoy being at. Like the days that we've been working here, we've been here till 10 p.m. at night, and it was like no one wants to go home. Everyone's just so dedicated. Um, and we have such a steep learning curve to come across together. So I anticipated honestly that was going to be tough, and it very much is. But we're working towards something really exciting. Really, I think it's just I'm also trying to just always arrive every day with a real open mind. I'm learning a lot every day, and I guess I knew that I needed something new. I knew I needed this new challenge. I think when I got here, I realized just how much I needed it and how great it's felt. And I'm literally walking around with a smile, such a big smile on my face every day I come to work. It's uh, it's very revitalizing. So I've been working with the engineers since day two of being at the factory. Just kind of trying to get to know them as and have them get to know me as quick as possible. Um, Everything's just so different here. I remember when I moved from McLaren to Mercedes, that was a big leap, but it was still the Mercedes engine. So it was, there were some similarities, but coming here to Italy, everything is just so different. And the tools in which we use, the language element, but everyone's been amazing to work with so far, and clearly everyone's very hungry, super driven, massively committed. And I think for me, it's just really I've enjoyed the testing that we've had. Had to find the limits of the car as quick as possible because I only have a handful of days, and I definitely did that. um, and yeah, it's just been fun. Each week has been so different, but there's still a long road ahead of us and a lot of challenges for sure. But I think we've covered as much as we could possibly cover in the small time that we've had so far. It's kind of seamless working with Charles. It's not been there's been no dramas. Um, Obviously, I knew that I was coming here, but also before it was even announced, Charles and I would always chat over the race weekends, and I think there's always been a mutual respect between us two. Um, and I think we knew very early on there were a couple of things we both like. He loves playing the piano, plays for sure better than I do, but we're both into music, and we're both interested in fashion. So outside of the racing space, we actually have some things that we can discuss, and we've been getting on really, really well. Last year, we spent a couple of evenings together during the year in a couple of different races, and had some good laughs. So I know that we're definitely going to get into some trouble and have some fun during our time here. But even today, just working on set together, it's just been um, it's just been a pleasure. So I know that this year for sure we're going to be pushing each other and pushing forwards together as teammates to try and take this team to the front. Mm-hmm. Così. It's going okay. I'm having lessons. Okay, I'm gonna try something. Um, Sono felice di iniziare questa nuova avventura con voi in Ferrari. Um, Sono molto emozionato. That's about it. Like I'm like learning bit by bit. Um, it's a lot, but I've always loved Italian. I think when I was at school, uh, we learned French, and it was the only thing I aced at school. But as soon as I left school, I didn't really speak any French, and I can't say that today. I really speak any more of it. But when I raced in Italy in karting when I was 13, so from 1997 to 2001, I think it was, I was in Italy a lot, and I loved it was probably my favorite period of time up until then, I guess, of my life, where I hated school. School wasn't going well, but the weekends that I would fly out to Italy on my own and, um, getting to have gelato. Um, God, I had so many pizzas, finding the best lasagna and pasta. The food was just so good. Um, so I'm really, really excited to be firstly back in Italy, and I really, really want to get more and more embedded in the Italian culture. And I'm already looking at places that I can go and visit. Um, and I'm always asking people here, like, where's the best Italian food? It's really interesting. You got people from north and south and east and west, and everyone has an opinion of where the best food really is in Italy. And so you actually can't get an answer because everyone says it's from wherever they are. But I'm looking forward to trying as much as I can during my time here.
I agree with what Enzo Ferrari used to say. At the end of the day, in our sport, we always try and analyze what can be done better. And for this new car, we've done everything in order to do a step forward, and it's definitely a step forward. So, yes, however, it still remains to be seen whether it's the best or the rest, which is eventually what counts in Formula One. It's a relative sport, and we want to be the best. Having come just short of the constructors title last year, yeah, there's only one goal for me, and this is to obviously win the constructors championship with Ferrari. That would be incredible, and win the drivers championship as well, which is a dream I have since child, and that I would love to achieve one day. So winning the 2 titles are the goals this year. We get on extremely well together. We've already spent quite a bit of time together in Maranello. I think the word surprise is not the right word, because whenever the most successful driver in F1 history comes to the team, you expect, I expected already Lewis to do a lot of things outstandingly well that will justify all his success that he's had in his career. And obviously there are lots of things for me to learn from him. So it's a very interesting moment because it's obviously the first times I get to see how he works behind the scene, and it's very, very interesting for me. So I'm trying to learn as much as possible, and I cannot wait to be racing alongside him very soon for Ferrari, and hopefully we'll win the title together. Seasons are getting longer and longer, so you've got to be ready for that. But the preparation didn't really change compared to the years before. I always do the same thing. I use basically the free time that we have as much as I can to train. I was in the mountain in Italy in the Dolomites, like I do every year, in order to really push my body to the maximum, in order to make all the physical gains in this period of the year. And then as soon as we'll start the first race, it will all be about maintaining this fitness throughout the year. So yeah, I've pushed a lot, as much as I've ever done before, and I'm ready for this season.
Definitely yes. It's such an emotional moment with very high excitement, and it's the same as the first time. It's the first moment in which you realize that everything is ready to hit the track. And it's also a moment in which you have mixed feelings. On one side, you are thinking about the shakedown and the first winter track test coming soon. On the other side, your mind is focused on what you have done, what you could have done better, and if really you have done everything you needed for the best preparation. But at the end is a great moment for all the guys that has worked with such a high passion over the last weeks, for all the team, and also for myself, having the privilege and the responsibility to represent all the guys that have worked in the power unit department. The essence of our work is always to extract the maximum potential of and from whatever we are doing at the end. So this really didn't change in the last seasons and year. It's only the focus area where we are focusing on that has changed. Because starting from 2022, when we had this frozen in power unit performance related to the current project, we obviously more and more focused ourselves in trying to extract the maximum potential from the power unit, regardless the conditions or the circuit where it is operated. So we mainly worked on power unit control and performance optimization in trying to get the most out of our procedures, and obviously being sure that everything is set at its nominal performance at every single event. This is really how and where we prepared the season, the 2025 season. And it's important because we simply moved from the design and development of the new hardware into different areas, mainly in terms of operations, preparations, and at the end, execution of our power unit being operated at the track. And it's fine because at the end, some of the others area, specifically design and development, will also have to be focused this year into the finalization of the 2026 project. Reliability is a never-ending job, and it's a continuous learning and improving process at the end. And for sure, every single event, every single test, every single race weekend is a learning opportunity. At the end, what we have really focused on for this season was mainly about being sure that everything is well prepared and settled for the race events. It's true that what we learned from last season, or eventually what we have as a confirmation from last season, is that despite the power unit being frozen, reliability is never a given, because any single unexpected event could really revert into unexpected consequences, troubles, issues, and any kind of criticality. So quality, preparation, component consistency will be crucial in the coming season. We did an improvement last season with reference to the previous one, and we must continue on this trend, keeping obviously always an eye to every single detail to be improved. And this is a never-ending process at the end. In my opinion, 2025 season will be characterized by two major elements. The first one is that for sure car development will continue as always. It's a natural trend to keep obviously more performance into the car, and this will for sure have an impact in the power unit usage. And so we are expecting somehow a further step in the power unit usage severity for this year compared to the very last one. The second element will be that with relative to the current project, we will have the lowest amount of dyno hours available to work on with the current project. And this is the kind of a challenge that I'm expecting for this season. On one side, we will have to cope with the further severity usage in our components, but at the same time, we will have the lowest capacity and capability in terms of dyno hours available to react to any single unexpected event. And so this will be why we will have to be sensible and prepared enough in order not to enter into this kind of criticalities. It's true that power unit pool management changed a bit in the recent seasons and here. For sure, in the last or some years ago, at every single introduction at the race, power unit was having somehow a different bit of hardware inside for performance or reliability upgrades. On the other side, it's true that in the recent seasons, power unit pool is quite an uniform one. And so also in terms of hardware, we are not introducing a lot of upgrade at each single introduction. And this gives us a sort of additional leverage to try to play with in selecting and defining the single components to be used at every single event. So we are preparing ourselves, and we are also trying to improve the way we are selecting the single power unit within the pool at each specific event, trying really to get the best out of it for the specific race based on what this power unit has done in the previous events and based on what are the peculiarities of the event we are going into. So it's true that we are having a little bit of a difference in the way that we are selecting the power unit into the specific event. And in a so close championship, this is our contribution as well to try to put into the car a little bit of performance to help the team to achieve this goal.
That's really exciting. The launch of the car is a very special moment for the team. It's when the car comes to life. Is the culmination of months of work. I mean, the SF-25 development started in March 2024. So we're all looking forward to the new car. About the SF-25, this car is an evolution of the SF-24. The SF-24 ended up on a high, and did show some good potential. So in that regard, it was a good basis to build on. If you look more into the details of what has been the target of the SF-25 development, it's been principally an architectural development of the car. What I mean by that is the fact that we have tried to boost the potential development of the car by making more space all around the chassis. The front suspension of the SF-25 is a pull rod, and SF-24 had a push rod front suspension. This is the visible part of the iceberg, because in reality we've changed 99% of the car. But in terms of architectural evolution of the car, the front suspension is a key element of it. Having said that, as I mentioned earlier, 99% of the car has been changed. The 2025 season is going to be a tight battle, and every millisecond will count. At the end of 4 years of a relatively stable regulation, you've got to dig deeper, and that's why you've got to go, to look at every single bit to find these milliseconds that are going to make the difference. The 2025 year is going to be an immense challenge for the team. We effectively have to cope with two development in 1 year. On one hand, you have the SF-25 that is into its third or fourth year of stable regulation. It's becoming more and more difficult to find performance, but at the same time, the grid is very tight. So, like for example, by the end of last year, the car in front of us would be just 30 milliseconds faster than us. So we're into marginal gains. So we've got to find the edge, and we've got to find these milliseconds where they are. So it will be difficult to find performance, but at the same time, it will be key to find these milliseconds. So on the other hand, you have the 2026 car, brand new regulation, blank sheet of paper, with a very, very steep gradient of development. So this is going to be very difficult to balance the development of these two different demands during the season, and we don't really have the answer at the moment how we're going to balance it. So it will depend also how the season is panning out. So I think we'll know a bit more when we get into the season. The most impressive thing starting in Bahrain was, or is, the passion and dedication of the people working at the factory. Has been really impressive to witness this drive. That's from a factory point of view. Now, if you look the outside, the other very impressive things and intimidating things is the enthusiasm for Ferrari and enthusiasm all around us. It's quite often that you get to bump into someone in the lift and they ask you about is the car ready? Are we going to win this year? This is a real source of inspiration for all of us, and we can't wait going racing.